All right, let's settle a massive debate right here in this explainer. When we talk about the absolute best teams at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, most people just pull up the official bracket, right? They see Argentina first, France second, Croatia third, Morocco fourth. But you and I both know that doesn't really tell the whole story. So welcome to our tactical deep dive. We're going way beyond the surface today. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's basically rethink everything you thought you knew about how this tournament actually played out.
Because, look, here's the harsh reality of the sport. Knockout football is incredibly cruel. It's literally designed that way. A single missed penalty, one weird deflection, or just, one bad half of football can unfairly eliminate an absolutely elite squad. The final standings naturally mask who the actual best teams were because a tournament format rewards survival on the day, not necessarily the best overall tactical football over the course of a month.
Okay, let's dive into this comparison. It's basically a tale of two tournaments. On one hand, we have the myth, which is the official results-only standings, but on the other, we have the reality, our tactical power rankings. We are stripping away the luck of the draw, we're taking out the pure, chaotic emotion of a penalty shootout, and we are focusing strictly on deeper strategy and actual on-pitch performance.
To build this ranking, we're using three very specific grading criteria. First up, tactical dominance. Basically, how well did a team dictate the game state? Second, consistently high performance across all of their matches, not just flashes of brilliance. And third, contextual results. Now, yes, the final scoreline absolutely matters, but the context of exactly how that score was achieved, well, that matters just as much in our evaluation.
Starting off our top 5, the Netherlands. Let's talk about controlled chaos. I know. Some fans found Louis van Gaal's squad a little bit boring to watch at times, but let's formally place them at number 5 for a reason. Their style was actually a total masterclass in calculated control. It's so easy to forget this, but the Dutch had 0 losses in 90 minutes throughout the entire tournament. Think about that. None. 0. Up until that fateful penalty shootout, they were completely undefeated in regulation time. To maintain that level of consistency against the world's best is just absolutely remarkable.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how they achieved it. Check out this tactical shift. With the ball, they operated in a really fluid 3-4-2-1 formation. But then, without the ball, they just seamlessly transformed into a rigid 5-2-3 block. This specific shape perfectly maximized Denzel Dumfries' relentless overlaps out on the wing, and it gave Cody Gakpo the complete freedom he needed to bang in 3 crucial group stage goals. Tactically, they were just so dialed in.
But you know what solidifies their spot here? Their elite mental fortitude. Picture this. They are down 2-0 in the 83rd minute against the eventual champions, Argentina. The game is basically over, right? Wrong. They executed this gutsy, perfectly engineered tactical comeback to draw 2-2. Sure, they lost the shootout that followed, but pulling off that incredibly clever set-piece equalizer in the dying seconds, that proved they had absolute tactical conviction.
Coming in at number 4, Elite England, an absolute attacking powerhouse. Now wait, before you start yelling at your screen about their quarterfinal exit, just hear me out. We have to acknowledge that Gareth Southgate finally let the handbrake off. He unleashed this incredible, dynamic attacking quartet of Bukayo Saka, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, and Harry Kane. I mean, having 4 world-class attackers genuinely clicking all at the exact same time, that is something most international managers literally only dream of.
Now, what's really interesting about this objective data is what happened in that fatal quarterfinal match. Look at this. England outshot France 16-8. They had a noticeably higher expected goals tally. They hit the post. Honestly, if Kane doesn't miss that second penalty on any other day, England likely wins that match 3-1. They absolutely, objectively dominated the defending champions offensively.
Across their 5 matches, the stats are just staggering. 13 goals scored, only 4 conceded from open play, and undeniably the absolute best attacking depth of any squad in Qatar. Seriously, if this World Cup had been played in, say, a 38-game league format, England's superior depth and attacking metrics would easily place them in the top 3. A couple of individual defensive errors caused them a shiny trophy for sure, but it does not cost them their spot in our top 5.
Moving on to number 3, defensive Morocco, a showing of historic mastery.
Let me be incredibly clear right off the bat. This is not some underdog sympathy pick just to make everyone feel good. Absolutely not. Sitting proudly at number 3, Walid Regragui's squad built a brilliant world-class defensive system.
They utilized a 4-3-3 base that effortlessly, and I mean instantaneously, shifted into an impenetrable 5-4-1 defensive block. And they had wingbacks constantly coiled and ready to trigger these lightning-fast counterattacks.
Just let this mind-blowing statistic sink in for a second. They conceded 1 goal in open play during the entire tournament. 1. And the craziest part of that stat? That singular goal was actually an unfortunate, fluky own goal against Canada. Literally no opponent actively broke their system down in open play and scored. At the World Cup, that is basically unheard of.
And just look at the path of destruction they left behind. They beat Belgium. They beat Spain on penalties after allowing 0 shots on target in 120 minutes. 0. Then they beat a totally stacked Portugal team. They were the most coherent, unified defensive machine we've seen since Greece shocked the world in 2004. And they did it all even after losing every single one of their starting center backs to injury by the semifinals. Just incredible.
Number 2, resilient France, the ultimate runner-up. Now, dropping the official tournament finalists down to the second spot might rub some fans the wrong way, but we have to remember that on paper, France was heavily ravaged, losing massive superstars like Karim Benzema, N'Golo Kanté, Paul Pogba, and Christopher Nkunku to injury before the first whistle even blew. That would completely derail any normal team. But Didier Deschamps adapted perfectly. He pivoted to a direct, intensely physical style of play and largely rode on the back of Kylian Mbappe's insane, Golden Boot-winning 8 goals. However, they did have a fatal flaw: massive midfield vulnerabilities. Without the tireless engine of Kanté and Pogba, teams like England, Morocco, and ultimately Argentina all managed to find massive, dangerous pockets of space right between France's defensive and midfield lines. Aurélien Tchouaméni was brilliant for the vast majority of the tournament, but being constantly exposed like that ultimately cost him his focus when it mattered most, in the final.
Which brings us to the ultimate deciding factor here. For the first 80 minutes of literally the most important match on planet Earth, France was completely outplayed. Were they resilient? Yes. Their late comeback showed unbelievable champion mentality, and making back-to-back finals is the stuff of legends. But being utterly dominated tactically for the vast majority of the biggest game keeps them firmly out of our number 1 spot.
And that brings us to number 1, Tactical Argentina, the true champions.
Let me stress this. They're ranked first on our list not just because they eventually ended up lifting the trophy, but because of exactly how they accomplished it on a purely tactical level. Earning this top spot all comes down to Lionel Scaloni's absolute masterclass in adaptation. After that totally shocking loss to Saudi Arabia in their opening game, he didn't panic. Instead, he completely reinvented the team's midfield. He boldly injected fresh, highly energetic legs like Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, and Julian Alvarez. And that fundamentally changed their entire dynamic.
So, the crucial point is right here in these 3 consistent tactical adjustments that literally no other squad could handle. 1, they fluidly switched between a compact 4-4-2 defensive block and an overwhelming 3-2-5 in attack. 2, they ruthlessly trapped opponents with these rapid, suffocating double teams right on the touchline. And 3, they played incredibly aggressively straight through the packed, congested middle of the pitch.
Now, they were only able to play through that packed middle thanks to Lionel Messi's immense, almost magnetic gravitational pull on defenders, paired with Alvarez's relentless off-the-ball movement. When you combine the absolute best player in the world with, undeniably, the most adaptable tactical system of the entire post-group stage, well, you create an undeniable, true champion.
It's the perfect formula. So, there you have it. That is our true tactical top 5. Netherlands, England, Morocco, France, and Argentina. But what do you guys think? Looking at all the deep tactical metrics we just covered, would you personally swap Morocco and France? Let me know where you stand, and let's keep the football debate alive. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we keep breaking down the beautiful game.